Safety car is going to continue on, yes, for one more lap by the looks of it. Hopefully these lights will remain attached as it goes over the start line, such that it was the speed that the McLaren was doing that they flew off, but it's a rather more securely
They haven't
anchored.
tested it in a wind tunnel with the light bar on, that's the problem.
No, exactly.
Well, Hyundai may have done.
So around they go through Paddock Hill Bend, the leading contenders as the final cars just come across the start-to-finish line on the Brabham Straight. Dip down through the compression, climbing up towards the hairpin at Druids. Slowest part of the circuit. Lap times this morning were pretty good. We had a 45.718 for Shane Stoney. The lap record in bike sports was a 45.55 set by Scott Mittal, so not too far off the kind of times that these cars are ultimately capable of. See if we get a lap record today. It's pretty good conditions. The one thing that counts against it is the wind. It is quite a strong headwind, isn't it, as the cars come along the start and finish straight.
Yeah, it looks that way. But that'll provide a welcome breeze while they're sitting going these sort of speeds, but headwind, as you say, but it's going to build the downforce through the corners, I would think.
Okay, here they come then. Safety car has peeled in, so it is Shane Stoney, number 89, and Dan Headlam, number 55, on the front row of the grid. It's Leon Morel and Paul Stewart on the second row of the grid, and the champion from last year is trying to squeeze through a gap between the two front row drivers, but it's the Dayglow yellow of Shane Stoney that leads. Leon Morel is second. It looks like Dan Headlam is third. There's one through the gravel briefly as they head through Paddock Hill Bend for the first time, up towards Druids for the first time. Then it's Morel trying to get his car up on the inside of Shane Stoney, and he can't quite make it work. Headlam is still there in third position as they drop down towards Druids for the first time. You can see first two cars, the PR6s with the central seat driving position, and it's the SR3 of Headlam in third place as they head through Surtees, McLaren towards Clearways for the first time.
Yeah, fantastic. And a dive up the inside, and that looked like Stables trying to make a move. I think he's grabbed a place. I think it was Stables who was into just touching the gravel out of Paddock. And here comes Stables attacking Headlam into Paddock Hill Bend. Ahead of him are Stoney and Morel. Stables trying to make it a 1-2-3 for the PR6 models.
Yeah, so it's Stables in that number 98 car. He's in one of the Class A machines. Headlam, the Class B leader, at the moment in third position overall. Joe Stables has not been in the what was the Bike Sports Championship for a couple of years, so returning for this season. And it's good to have him back. I was a little surprised he was as far down as 6th in qualifying. Joe Stables, who won the championship in 2018 and 2019. He's making a move here on Headlam. The two of them alongside as they go along the start to finish straight, and over the timing line it's Stables in the black PR6 that does make it a 1-2-3 for the PR6s and the Class A cars.
Didn't even get as far as the braking area before he made his move. Headlam capitulated and thought, well, okay, he's not in my class, doesn't really matter. And that makes it a 1-2-3 for the PR6s, which was the centre seat version of the Pro Sport. And immediately Joe Stables is attacking. He wants that second place from Leon Morel, who made such a fantastic start, a gang-busting start. And he's made it. He's made it. He's charged through. A little bit of power oversteer through there and tucks onto the Brabham Straight. Stoney's gone at this point, but Morel comes back, slipstreams down towards Paddock. He's not enough room on the inside though, and has to give way.
Yeah, so that's 3.6 seconds the deficit for Stables on Stoney. Stoney's done the best lap of the race for 45.663, the Ravenel fastest lap of the race so far, but Stoney now is going to have to just keep this lead as Stables will no doubt try and close down on him. Meanwhile, it's Paul Stewart, I think, that's, yes, they're in 5th position. We're just seeing him ahead of Pedro Oliveira in 6th, but that was getting closer.
And that makes it a Class B battle in 4th place. 54 Headlam and 84 is Stewart. Behind them is 1. I see that's the red car. which is that's 11, Philip Brown.
Yeah, and the gap's gone out by another 1.2 seconds on that lap, as Stables was having to defend from Morel at the beginning of the lap, so Stoney continuing to pull away. When we saw the entry list for this event, Josh Barrett was messaging me, our regular commentator with the 750 Motor Club, saying Stoney versus Stables this year could be spicy. Well, Stables has got a bit of work to do to get on terms with Shane Stoney. There's still 19 3/4 minutes left to do it in this race. I think we have lost a couple of minutes off the total race time with that extra couple of pace laps that we had to have. So it's Stoney leading. There is Leon Morel, then last year's champion, a 3-time champion now in bike sports, winning it for the last couple of seasons. And also in 2021 as well, the carpet shop owner from Nottingham, 42 years of age. Watching these cars as they swoop down Paddock Hill Bend. That's the number 5 car, that's Doug Carter. He has got ahead of him Gordy Much, the British GT4 racer from last year in the University of Derby run SR1, that is leading that class quite comfortably from Aaron Rose in the number 8 car, 13th overall, who's second within the SR1 division at the moment.
Rapid driver Gordy Much for seeing the young Scot in various historic cars owned by John Clark over the years. John Clark, the motor trader, motor baron from north of the border. Big supporter of Gordy.
Yeah, Aberdonian driver who's risen through Ginetta Junior, Ginetta GT5 as well. He's raced in over the season, still only in his early 20s. At the other end of the age scale is Doug Carter, one of the veterans of 750 Motor Club Racing in his PR6, but he's going well in 9th position overall. He's 4th within Class A at the moment.
Doug Carter's raced for the 750 Motor Club for donkey's years, hasn't he? Still as enthusiastic as ever.
There's the 84 car of Stewart. He's being pursued by 57, Pedro Oliveira, based in the West Country at the moment, has won karting championships in the UK, but part of the Team Brazil cabal of drivers, masterminded by Luke Cooper and his wife Lyra. Here is the number 1 car of Morel. Then he is now 0.7 of a second behind Stables, and really his focus of attention is keeping Dan Headlam behind him. But Headlam, of course, in a different class, and points within the Radical Club Challenge are scored based on your class finishing position rather than your overall finishing position.
Stoney going so rapidly, right down into the 44s now, 44.851, so under the old bike sports record.
Yeah, so a new lap record there for Shane Stoney. Very, very rapid lap of this 1.2 mile Brands Hatch circuit. But he's now 9.7 seconds clear of Joe Stables, so we thought Joe might be able to try and mount an attack, but he's not going to be able to do that. We just saw Stoney there heading through Graham Hill Bend. Here he is now heading up the Cooper Straight, and he's already lapping traffic in this race. So Shane Stoney very much on a mission. Successful driver in last year's Bike Sports Championship on occasion. He won 4 races during the course of the year, including one here at Brands Hatch, where I think the car was not staying in gear. I think he had to maybe drive around an issue, if I remember rightly, on that occasion. 24 car going through is Ian Charles, another stalwart. He's in 14th position. And he has just behind him the car number 91. That is John Davis.
You can see where his colour scheme was inspired by the JPS cars of the early 1970s. I remember seeing Emerson Fittipaldi here in 1972 British Grand Prix in the Lotus 72. Fabulous racer, the Brazilian, twice world champion, of course, in Formula One. And there comes Stoney carving his way through the lower order now as he laps them. Takes Davis into paddock, making this look very easy, isn't he?
Yes, he is, with a car that's playing ball, which it wasn't always during the course of last season. He now laps the 24 car of Charles, so that's lapped everyone up to including 14th place. Question now is going to be how far up the order can he get? We've still got 15 minutes of this race to go, and a little bit more in actual fact, so there's time for him to make up quite a few more places. He is lapping really 2 seconds faster than any, well, 1.4 seconds faster than Stables on best lap times, but really 2 seconds faster than anybody else.
Yeah, he's using all the road and not an inch more, which is great to see.
Stephen Bell we can see in the shot there, the number 86 car, the Radical SR3 RSX, the packaging designer from Leeds. Again, another long-time 750 Motor Club competitor. Started out in 2001, did kit cars and RGB. He's in the Tim Gray Motorsport run Hayabusa engined car, which apparently was driven by Sebastian Vettel in the Race of Champions a few years ago.
Has that made it any quicker?
I don't remember, possibly when Sebastian Vettel was driving it, I don't know.
This gap's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We've got another, we've got pretty much half the race still to go, and Stoney is pretty much a quarter of a lap ahead of anybody else.
Yeah, that's a big margin. Class B, that's being led by Headlam, Dan Headlam in 55, who started on the front row of the grid. He's got about a 1.2 second advantage over Paul Seward in the number 84 car. And third within Class B is Pedro Oliveira. Class C still being led by Gordy Much from Aaron Rose. And then third within that class is Vic Sedera.
Vikram Sedera himself?
Yeah, number 66 car, the 41-year-old from Leicestershire. Started out racing in Porsche Boxsters 5 years ago. And bought this car in the winter. So there's Bell in the 86 car. And he's running in 10th place, just ahead of number 15, which is Dean Hudson.
Gordy Much is having a nibble at a couple of cars through paddock. I think it's cars he was lapping.
Yeah, so we've got Gordy Much coming towards them. 13 minutes of this race left to go. Shane Stoney leading by 16 seconds, so that's more than a third of a lap based on the lap times that he's doing. So he's a long way clear of everyone else. Watching the 84 car of Paul Seward, 49-year-old from Templescombe, second season of racing. Did some bikes between 98 and 2006, was successful in the Supersport 600 Championship that supported the British Superbike Championship. Champion in 2004. And he's in the RJ Motorsport run car. And he's running there in 5th position at the moment, just ahead of Pedro Oliveira.
Headlam's the only SR3 driver who seems able to stay with any of the PR6s. He's hanging on to Morel, but not really threatening him.
Just looking at drivers who are setting green lap times, which are personal best laps. Morel and Headlam both improved their lap times last time through, 46.8 and 46.7 respectively.
There's nothing really in it, is there? But leaders' times backed off quite a bit.
Now I've got a black and white driving standards flag that's gone out to two drivers, to number 3 Calvin O'Connor and to number 91 John Davis, and they are in 16th and 15th respectively, and one imagines that's going to be because they've exceeded track limits, which is monitored here at Brands Hatch by, amongst other things, sensors at the side of the track, which will capture an image of the offending vehicles. So quite quickly
presented with a souvenir afterwards in the headmaster's office.
The officials can quite quickly then, make the decision to show these flags and apply penalties where appropriate. If either of those drivers contravenes again, they'll get a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits, and those will build up over time. Ten minutes or so of the race left to go here.
20 seconds now, the lead.
Yes, it's he's going to get through most of the field, isn't he, during the course of this race.
Now Headlam is now all over the back of Morel in that battle for 3rd place. And Stoney there in our picture just sweeps round the outside of one of the lower order cars.
Yeah, he's not improved his lap time recently, of course, with all the traffic that he's had to deal with. Here's quite a congested piece of circuit. This is up at the top of the circuit.
And there's the leader at the back of it in this sort of lime-coloured, sort of lemon meringue pie-coloured car, isn't it?
Yeah, and at the head of that group, I think is... Well, Gordy Much has actually dropped back, hasn't he?
Oh, and we've got one pulling off into the refuge at the back of the pits.
Yeah, so it's Dean Hudson that Shane Stoney is about to lap. He's got ahead of Much, who has dropped back down the order. He's still leading in Class C for the SR1s.
Is that Much?
No, it's not.
There? No?
I don't think it is. We can't quite see the number on that car.
It's a dark-coloured car, so which is
17 it is. So that's
Herbaker. It's Stephanie Herbaker who's pulled off in number 17 then. Thank you to our spotter who picked up that number.
So 9 minutes or so to go. And here is the 86 car of Stephen Bell. He's in 9th place, about to be lapped by the race leader Shane Stoney, who's going to be in no hurry to force a way through here. He's a very experienced driver now and knows that he doesn't really need to make any rash moves. He's experienced in all kinds of cars as well. He's Shane Stoney. He first made an impact on 750 Miles Club in Sax Max many years ago, where it was champion in that Citroen Saxo based category for junior drivers. Oh, and now we've got the safety car being scrambled, and that'll be because of that Herbaker car on the side of the circuit, just on the Cooper Straight. So safety car coming into effect with 8.5 minutes of the race to go. The order as things stand is as follows. Number 89, Shane Stoney, it is that leads. Number 98, Joe Staples is second. The gap was 21 seconds. That will compress a bit, but there'll be cars between Stoney and Staples, I'm sure. Number 1, Leon Morel is third. Those also the top 3 in Class A. Fourth is number 55, Dan Headlam. Fifth is number 84, Paul Seward. Sixth is 57, Pedro Oliveira. Those are the top 3 in Class B. 7th is number 11, Phil Brown. 8th is number 5, Doug Carter. 9th is number 86, Steve Bell. 10th is number 15, Dean Hudson. Class C is being led by number 1, Gordy Much, ahead of Aaron Rose in number 8 and Vic Sedera, number 66, completing the top 3 in the SR1 division. 7 3/4 minutes to go. Safety car is out.
Carter wasn't lapped when the safety car came out, so what this has done, it has put Shane Stoney there in the PR6. In the queue is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ahead of the black car of Joe Stables. Joe Stables has Leon Morel right behind him, and then it's lapped cars, Davis and Charles. Then it's Headlam and Brown. By the Headlam, Brown didn't pick up Oliveira there, but I'm sure he's there.
It looks like it shouldn't be too long of a delay, because where that car stopped was right by the back entrance to the paddock, and the recovery vehicle as well. He sort of popped out to try to quick that car back into position of safety. So I think we will have more racing laps before the end of this Radical Club Challenge race, the first of 2025.
What it may do, it may allow a little bit of an adjustment in the order. For third, maybe the Morel Headlam situation, or maybe Headlam has Stewart and Oliveira behind him, right behind him, so that could change on a restart. It looks unlikely that the lead situation will alter.
Safety car lights have gone out,
yes,
which is excellent timing there, because they were almost followed the car that was being recovered back into the pit lane. So we're going to have probably 5 3/4 minutes or 5.5 minutes by the time they get back to the timing line, which is probably going to be enough for 7 laps, something like this. The gap between Stoney and Stables was down to 5 seconds, but there were cars between them as they come up to the end of lap 20, about to go on to lap 21 then, and it's Shane Stoney who's made a great restart. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars between himself and Joe Stables in second, and the Stables is under pressure here from Leon Morel, who's going up the inside of him into Paddock Hill Bend. Did he get that move done? Not quite.
Oh, that was close, because he boxed Morel in behind one of the SR3s, the car that's running behind Sedera.
We're watching a couple of the back markers there. Behind, if we stick with this shot and wait for the next couple of cars to come in, we should see in the background there, you've got Joe Stables and Leon Morel heading towards us as they battle their way through the traffic. Stables and Morel, car 98 and 91 then. I mean, it's a huge lead again for Shane Stoney. He's really made hay with that restart. He's gone off into the distance, helped by those lapped runners. And it is going to be, Stables, I think, has seen off the challenge of Morel there, because all of a sudden there's 0.8 of a second between those two cars as they start their 23rd lap.
But then Headlam, Seward and Oliveira in their SR3s remain pretty close together. 1.5 seconds splitting those three. Joe Stables has got right back into it, hasn't he? He's pushing really hard to break away from Leon Morel. Morel had a good chance. He tried to make it stick at the foot of Paddock Hill Bend last time through, but that opportunity looks to have gone.
Yeah, and Stables is now more than half a lap up, or more than a third of a lap again behind Shane Stoney, although the gap had come down to 5 seconds behind the safety car. It must be close to 20, no, it's 9 seconds. In fact, I'm overstating it somewhat. 9 seconds is the gap, but it's certainly gone out from where it was.
Still a country mile.
Yeah, it is. So this the battle for 9th and 10th that we're watching on screen now. Steve Bell and number 15, Dean Hudson, who lists Brands Hatch as his favourite circuit. Started racing only last year, the electrical engineer from just up the road in Rochester, the 40-year-old. Done some track days and some motocross. It's a 2011 car, an X-Mark Thompson machine. He's owned the car for about 12 months now. And he's having a really good run out here. Oh, and there's been a spin. That's for Seward, who was in 5th place overall. Is he going to lose a position? I think he may have already lost the position to Pedro Oliveira after that moment. We'll get confirmation of that as they come through to complete lap 24. There's that ongoing battle.
Yeah, Brown's through Phil Brown's through as well in 11, and Seward continues to drop down the order.
And to add insult to injury, he's got a black and white driving standards flag as well. So he's got to be careful not to blot his copybook any further in this race. 2.5 minutes left of this opening event of the season. Stoney come across the line again with this big advantage of his. Joe Stables is about to come across the line, I can see. As this battle in the midfield comes through, that's the one that involves Charles, I think Calvin O'Connor as well, in the number 3 Radical SR3, the 2010 car. That battle though featuring, oh no, we're now watching Joe Stables. We've got behind it the battle between 86 and 15, Bell and Hudson, which is actually more than a lap behind on the circuit. Perfect conditions for this opening event of the season. These cars all winning slicks, of course. Joe Stables now putting a lap on Steve Bell, or trying to, and just about managing to do it. So he's now lapped off on Upton, including 9th, and Stoney's probably lapped a few more than him. Stoney already halfway along the Cooper Straight, with probably 2 more laps to go at the end of this one.
Oliveira slipping back in 57 from 55, the class leader, Dan Headlam. Brown in 3rd place, number 11 in that class. Doug Carter not far behind him. There goes our leader, through for the 27th time.
Yeah, and there will have to be 2 more laps to go because there was a minute left on the clock as he crossed the line that time. He's climbing up the hill and he's already at Druids, the right-hand hairpin. He'll be dropping back down the hill now towards Graham Hill Bend and turning on to the Cooper Straight. There's PR6 in its central seat position. Looks like Shane Stoney is going to be the inaugural winner of the Radical Club Challenge. And this new association with the 750 Motor Club launched for this season.
It's interesting that his car has a sort of LMP style dorsal fin above the engine cover.
That's right.
Not all of them do.
So he now is going on to his final lap of the race with 8 seconds left on the clock. We're counting down to 0 now. It's going to be a 29 lap race. It would have gone into the 30s were it not for that safety car halfway through the race, or just over halfway through the race. And he's got one more car to lap, I think, before the end. One of the SR1s. But he's turning his way through now. Through Clearways and Clark Curve and on to the Brabham Straight for the final time. So the first 750 Motor Club race winner of 2025 is going to be Shane Stoney then. He wins round 1 of the Radical Club Challenge.
They're going to be dancing on the streets of York tonight. It's a York 1-2 because Joe Stables is going to come home second, and he does now in car number 98. So PR6 is 1 and 2. Leon Morel is third in the number 1 car. Another PR6 just ahead of Dan Headlam, who wins Class B in 55, the SR3. And then it is 57 Pedro Oliveira, the Brazilian, UK domiciled Brazilian. And in 6th place, third of the B runners, is car number 11, which is Philip Brown.
Yeah, Paul Stewart then was in the top 5, wasn't he, at one point, but had that spin coming out of Druids a few laps from the end, so he dropped out of contention. Class C for the SL1s, that's been won by Gordy Much, second Aaron Rose, and Vic Sedera was third. And that brings to an end our first race of the day. 19 started, 18 finished. Here's the order. Shane Stoney it was, number 89 that won, 29 laps completed, and his winning margin in the Radical PR6 was 13.2 seconds over number 98 Joe Stables in second place. In third position was number 1 Leon Morel. Then the Class B winner was number 55 Dan Headlam. From 57 Pedro Oliveira and 11 Philip Brown. Doug Carter was 7th in number 5, 8th in number 84 Paul Stewart, 9th was 86 Stephen Bell, and Dean Hudson round out the top 10 in number 15. Gordy Much, number 92, won the SR1 class. He was 11th overall ahead of John Davis, Ian Charles and Alicia Barrett. And 15th place went to number 3, Calvin O'Connor, ahead of Aaron Rose, Vic Sedera and Scott Lee. The last of the finishers with Stephanie Herbeker, number 17, the only non-finisher, having pulled off on the Cooper Straight just over halfway through that race.
It's interesting that all but the last 3 managed to lap below 50 seconds.
So the Radical Club Challenge is back out a bit later at 4:30. But for now, we're going to head down to the pit lane and we'll hear from, for the first time today, Josh Barrett.
So we're down here after the first Radical Club Challenge race at Brands Hatch, and it was a race win for Shane Stoney, so we'll grab a word with Shane if we can. Shane, well done, a new season, new competitors, but you're well in front of the race, well done.
Yeah, that one went to plan, didn't it? Finally, it actually ran a race without braking. Yeah, it's the car felt really good. Although the safety car coming out was not ideal, particularly it was going really slow, very, very slow, which I was getting kind of worried about because, you know, if it had been much longer than that, temps would start to creep up, things like that. So, but yeah, no, really good result, really happy, and just want to say a massive thank you to my dad for all the hard work, and also a massive shout out to RLM because we had an absolute disaster a couple of weeks ago, and they managed to turn the engine around in about 8 days. So yeah, massive thank you to all those guys.
And a 44 as well, which is pretty epic round here in one of these.
Yeah, it was quite nice. I knew in quali that I'd not got the best out of the car because I was having to there was a yellow flag and I lifted off and all that kind of thing. So, but I'll be honest, I didn't think there was a 44 in there. I thought a low 45 was doable, but yeah, no, I was quite chuffed with that when I saw that come up on the dash.
And obviously with the bigger grid this year, a bit more traffic to deal with, especially around here, so how was that?
It wasn't too bad actually, yeah. Most of the traffic, I mean, I was quite lucky I had the gap, so I could pick and choose when I was trying to get past people and try not to disrupt them too much, as well as having to make do or die. I need to get through quickly. I had the time on my side on that front, but if race two's closer, then obviously I'll have to try a little, I'll have to be a bit more positive through traffic and things like that. But I mean, everybody knows what's happening. They know where they know who the quick guys are, so they know who they're looking out for. So, and as long as everyone does what they normally do, stay on the line, it's down to us to get past them. So yeah, we don't want to cause any trouble.
Well done, Shane. Class B winner was Dan Headlam. Dan, a great start to the season then. What looks like a very competitive Class B this year?
Yeah, it certainly looks quite close this year. Obviously, best start we can have in that class right now, and hopefully try and replicate it this afternoon.
Looked like you had Leon race again, although he's in a different car.
Yeah, we were close for a good few laps, and then obviously there was a safety car and some traffic and back markers, and we spread out a bit. But yeah, it was good to be behind him again, although yeah, in a different class, as you say.
But the class win, that's the most important thing. You got that, so well done.
Yeah, I mean, that was the job to do in that one, and ideally it's the job to do in the next one, yeah.
Well, good luck for that one then. Our Class C winner was Gordy Much, the new Class C Radical SL1s, and Gordy, well up overall as well. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good fun out there. I've only done a few reference laps in Radical before this weekend, so but I've been really looking forward to working together with Derby University with the students. It's a fantastic programme which offers experience to students where you can't really get anywhere else, and I think the result there, fighting with some of the SR3s, is more a testament to how good of a job the students are doing rather than me behind the wheel.
Tell us a bit about the university programme quickly.
Absolutely. So we've got the motorsport engineering programme at Derby University, and effectively Derby University have got their own motorsport team, and we provide the opportunity for students to come and get real world experience. It's extremely tricky for young aspiring engineers to get proper experience in motorsports, and teams are a little bit shy on taking people on that haven't got experience, so it's a bit tricky. So it's a perfect opportunity for young budding engineers to actually get feet on the ground and get experience, and it's a fantastic programme, and if you're interested you should contact us.
Great stuff, well done then. Well done to all our three class winners in the Radical Club Challenge.